ring of death. It's time to prove yourself on screen. Prepare your mind, begin your steps. Your chance to make it in the scene. Round one, let the battle of fists begin. Mind games, a vital weapon to fear. Dark magic skill, teleported powers. They have the path that you are to tread. Claim victory with sorcery. The sequestration of the potential living fear. You must never lie to cybernetic die. In searching for the sudden Europass. The night is here, they will be released. The power of the followers is the game. You try to zone, they will break your bones. There's nothing to lose, there's not to scream. Round two, you are fighting to be the best. Your second chance to prove yourself to the rest. Projectiles and combos dominating on screen. Never enough to defeat the king. Claim victory with sorcery. The sequestration of the potential living fear. You must never lie to cybernetic night. It's searching for the sudden Europass. The night is here, they will be released. The power of the followers is the game. You try to zone, they will break your bones. There's nothing to lose, there's not to scream.
It's no longer just a fight. It's about reputation and pride. You must do your best. Back up your words, or you will be obliged.
Fight around the top to decide your fate. Your chance to shine has now come to an end. You were once a threat, you were once a victor. Brace yourself for a fatality. Claim victory with sorcery. The sequestration of the potential living fear. You must never lie to cybernetic God. It's searching for the sudden Europass. The night is here, they will be released. The power of the followers is the game. You try to zone, they will break your bones. There's nothing to lose, there's not to scream. There's not to scream.
What's up, everybody? Jesus Christ, these fucking lights. Hold on, let me fucking put some lights on. Fucking going blind. Fuck's up with these blue lights? There we go, much better. Got some color. Yeah, I got blue lights, pink lights, green lights, whatever kind of lights you want. So, alright guys, I'm going to be bringing on Larry at about 10:30. And I'm not bringing it in as a free-for-all. I am going to ask him a lot of questions. I do want questions answered. He's willing to answer the questions. I'm not going soft on him. I know he's East Coast and, you know, West Coast and all that other bullshit that goes on. You know, I want to see, you know, where he feels he made mistakes, what he's looking at doing to alleviate it. Obviously, I'm going to be asking him what his opinion is. Wow, why is this camera so shitty? Damn, man. Fucking autofocus crap. I look like I'm 100 years old. Wait, I am 100 years old. There we go. That's better. So, I'm going to hit them with things that is what I think most of you people want to know. Obviously, the overcrowding, the heat issue from what I was told, including what Alex Jeb Bailey's tweet or Facebook post that he soon after deleted for what I got people saying. But the only way that shit like this gets alleviated is if you talk about it. And one of the things is that, I know people love to call me a conspiracy person, and I'm not going to call crying racism or anything else, but there is wars that are going on within the TOs. And the people who suffer during these wars are the players. Because, unneeded pressure is put on to people, trying to hold good events. And there's a lot of backstabbing that goes on. It's not as clear cut and dry as people think. And now I know, of course, people out there are going to say, I'm just trying to fucking rattle some shit. I got nothing to gain from rattling shit. It's definitely, what is this? Can I come on later to talk about the whole art? Yeah, so Kuro, I'll let you come on later. We're going to talk about that whole shit. The TO Wars Moldenite is a legitimate thing. It seems to be East Coast versus Alex Keats and Rick from Combo Breaker, and then the West Coast. I don't know if it's a three-way war. I don't even know, to be honest, but I do know obviously there's tension there. One of the things I do want to make a point of is I was told, and again I don't know the truth to it, but I was told Alex had come to final round handing out advertisement for CEO for the venues and tournament dates. They're not competing for the tournament dates. See, that's the thing. They kind of, and this is kind of where it gets a little fucked up. They agree on their dates. Capcom Pro Talk canceled, did it? But they agree on dates and they try to work around each other. But then they will do little events around the time of other events. And guys try not stepping on each other's feet. But there's only 12 months in a year. So now it's to the point where you really can't do anything without stepping on somebody's feet. Zeno, from what I heard about the whole Lucky Pizza thing is, I'm not going to really go into that one, but my boy Showtime had put his pizza down, and people got to know in the FGC, if you put something down and walk away from it, don't expect it to be there after. Why are there wars within the TOs when the games all suck? You know what? Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I think people that showed up to final round are well aware of CEO. And you're right. And that's why one of the things that I personally feel is that it was not needed to do to go out there and push your event at somebody else's event. That's, to me, that's kind of grimy. But Catnip stole that pizza. I mean, the whole pizza thing, guys. Man, I talked to both of them about it, and they just want to drop it. So I'm not going to really get into the whole pizza thing. But what it comes down to is this. All right, and I've been saying this from day one. I keep hearing guys talk about wanting to grow the scene. Where are you going with the scene is what you need to ask yourself. And that's being 100% real. You're not pro players. You're not making money. This is supposed to be a hobby for entertainment and competitive, obviously. But what is and this is what you got to ask yourself, what is your end game? I hear people turning around and talking about the scene growing and secret Illuminati cliques to share tech. Stuff like that that makes me wonder, like, what are people's mentality? You're playing video games. And I don't care how many people show up to an event. 50,000 people could show up to Evo. Okay? That's still not success. Success for esports is based on spectators, not on players. And, I've said it time and time again. There are people that are in positions that will manipulate to make money. They're just out to make money. Some of them are more eager than the others, and yes, I'm still alive. What does the fox say? But, it's never going esports. Okay, for a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons is it's multiple games. League of Legends doesn't have 20 different versions of League of Legends that are successful. You got League of Legends, and then you got a couple of other games scattered here and there. Then you got your MOBAs, you got your Counter-Strike, but you don't have 10 titles. And paid attendees like NFL, MLB, Wimbledon, boxing, they're going to keep going to that. Nobody is going to pay to come watch video games. And that's the thing that people don't even understand. The league players paid in pizza. It's funny when you say that, but there's people that are in this scene that I have spoke to who have quit their jobs or not work at all, or base their lives off of saying, I can work a job as long as it doesn't interfere with my gaming. And that's the funny part, is people are legitimately doing this, and they're being encouraged by the people that are trying to make a couple of bucks in this. And it's sad to see, and this is coming from somebody. Listen, I've given a shit ton fucking money into the FGC. My own personal money, without no intent of making money back, just because I could say I did. Meanwhile, there's players and there's people out there. Listen, you commentate, or you make frame data videos. Okay, how does that help grow the scene? Or you share tech. How does that help grow the scene? That helps grow a player base, but it does not grow the scene. And Triforce will be on a little later too. And you know what? Will Wiley. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing memes and making funny shit. That's what this is supposed to be. I don't know if that could be the room. That could be true. I don't know. I haven't talked to that piece of shit GM in quite some time. And it's it's sad to see people fighting over crumbs that aren't even theirs to start with. You know, and it's going to get to a point. You know, we just had this shit that went on in Brussels today. You know, we're more concerned with what's going on in the secret tech community of Japan about sharing tech, that we're talking about building some fucking stupid Illuminati of players, and people are getting blown up all over the fucking world. Our economy sucks. What good is all this shit when you ain't got a job? And you know what? I farted and it stank. You're 100% correct. You know, people don't... that tech is only valuable to top players. Go in your own little top player world and do your frame data and all that other bullshit. Because you're 10 people, you're 100 people, whatever it is, you're the only ones that care about it. You know, at the end of the day, people go to these events to have fun. Now, I will say, you know, I always, and I will always continually say that Alex Jabali is a little cunt. But I'm not going to say his criticism was wrong. I'm just saying that the bitch could have did it a different way. You know, he could have approached you know, Larry. Instead, he's like me. You know, he's like me. I'm a cunt just like that bitch is. But the fact of the matter is, I need to be heard. I'm a loudmouth. I'm this, I'm that. But that's part of my presentation. You know, Jeb Bailey saved everything. He also saved Evo, Apex last year or whatever it was too. When I come on and I do this show, okay, for those people, and I had seen the tweets like, oh my God, is Larry coming on the OBS show? I'll do the interview. You know, I've bit my tongue, you know. But this rejected-looking fucking Muppet band member, I mean, he looks like the puppets that are in the Muppet Band, except he's the one Jim Henson gave an extra Y chromosome to, so he's a little bit retarded. So he just threw him out, you know, and he you know, puts it out there, you know, oh, how could you go on that show? Why not? You know, why not? Maybe because I'm not a pot-smoking dude that fucking sits there and strokes the dick of everybody that's a top player. Maybe that's why. I don't know. You know, and it's the fact that I've seen the tweets that were out there of people saying, man, you can't go on his show. No fucking way. How the hell you go on his show? Why not? You know, I've kept it 100% since I've come and started doing this show. Have I said fucked up things? Listen, who hasn't? At least I didn't get picked up trying to freaking pick up tranny escorts and try to hide it, you know, on a stream. But, you know, my point is, this scene is supposed to stay grassroots. It is not supposed to be esports. You know, and the fact is, you know, and shout outs to Trunks. He don't have to be scared of me. I'm not going to beat him up. I've seen him at events. You know, I just don't like the way he talks to people. You know, I like to talk to people. There's nothing wrong with lady boys, but there is something wrong with dudes trying to pick up, or chicks or whatever, picking up hookers. You know, I mean, that's where the issue is. Picking up ladyboy hookers, that's a little, you know, that's a little too much for me. But, again, my point is, it's not what they do, it's how they do things. You know, they want to put themselves out there as their professionals as long as you kiss their ass. As long as you kiss these people's asses. And you should not have to kiss anybody's ass in a gaming event, a TO, a cosplayer, whatever it is. You know, and it's and until you guys realize that, you're going to be stuck in the same situations, which is what happened with Final Round. You know, shit happened, mistakes were made. It wasn't a deceptive tech that Larry was using, I can guarantee you. Nobody does this for 18 years and then on the 19th year just decides to be a scumbag. You know, so shit happened. Arts into Guard Quest special. But, you know, it's no, the stream's not done. I'm just starting up, what is that, Prencusty? I'm just waiting for Larry to hit me up. He should be joining me in a few minutes. Yeah, Jeb Bailey was screwing with she-males. Not just she-males, hookers. You know, but again, you know, this is also coming from somebody that, in my opinion, now again, this is my opinion. So before everybody goes out there and accuses me of making up stuff, to me, he's the type of guy that Daddy has given him money to do the event under the guise of CEO, but he's never making a profit. I can guarantee you this, his turnout for what he spends is not making a profit. Now, that makes you a bad businessman. That's the reality of it. And I think now he's starting to feel the pressure of it. So now he knows he has to do his best to get those numbers up. See, personally, if I was running an event, my event would be simple. Come, I don't care. You come, you come. You don't, you don't. I just want to make sure you enjoy yourself while you're playing. As far as who makes money and who don't, I need to make some money. You know, but I'm not looking to make bank. And I don't think it's an issue of corner cutting that's going on. I think it's yeah, no, he was talking about Evo too. He's talked about he wants to become his own little Evo. And that's a good aspiration. That's a good aspiration. Let me see something. Okay. So, you know, I gotta hold on a second. I need to grab something over here because I don't want you guys to see my tranny porn. Let me go to here. I gotta move my history over to the side so you don't see what I'm typing. You know, it's funny, I don't even know my passwords anymore. It's been that long since I logged in on here. Damn. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah, while I'm doing this, talk about pizza stealing. There we go. All right. Let's see what we got here. I do want this picture. And do we want to remember my password? No, thank you. And all right. Now, you know, one of the things that I do want to address is, hold on a second, let me save this picture too. Save target as, pick 2. Save picture as. pick one. That's that one. All right. And pick two. Alright, so anyway, guys, Larry's going to be on in 2 seconds once I point out something here. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so here's where I have a problem. Now, you come to my event, okay, and you know, granted, you bashed it. So, you turn around. Alright. So this is apparently what's up, Neil Russell? So before I totally get into Larry's shortcomings for the event, I do want to figure this out. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's thanking me for this one. If you come to my event and you already know that we're not the bestest of buddies, and you go and you blow me up right after I allow you to hand out your shit, at my event. So he comes to the event, he hands this shit out, bitches and moans about getting hit in the temple, gets on a plane, and goes back home. You know, now, I know because I've set up booths, okay? I've set up booths. I've rented space at events. You pay for that with cash. Dynamic Beadworks is in here. He knows we pay to set up a space. So Alex comes in, exactly, shout outs to Trunks. He does some New York City mixtape type shit. Hands out his shit and then hightails it out. You know, and that to me is scumbagish. And I don't care if he thinks it was okay to do. If he thinks it was okay to do or not. But you don't turn around, go and hand out shit for your event at an event, then come home and blow it up. You know, that's really kind of grimy to do. But anyway, I'm adding Larry right now, guys. Tweet it out there.
Hello.
What's up, sir?
What's going on, James?
You recouping?
Yeah. You know, my voice back, so that's good.
Well, that's a good thing.
The voice. My back kind of hurt, though. You know, in that truck.
That's cool, getting old.
Basically. But it's not as bad. I mean, hell, car broke down.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that.
Back up, so that sucks. Hopefully he's almost back home.
Yeah, that sucks, too. It happened in South Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, as somebody that watched the event over the weekend, honestly, I can say I had no problem. You know, I mean, everything that I watched was okay. I had no complaints about that. But now, from what things that I've heard, the two main things that I was talked about was the pool timing of when people were finding out when they were getting pools. What exactly happened?
Well, basically, I made a decision before the event to try this new system called Smash GG to run our pools. Now, in hindsight, I shouldn't have tried a new system doing a huge event like Final Round. And it was nothing wrong with the system. Now, I want to put that out there. I'm not going to bash the Smash GG guys because they were on, basically trying to troubleshoot with my tech guys for like a day and a half, trying to find out how we can get all our information on it properly. So it really wasn't any fault of their system or anything like that. That was more on our side, not getting things out, which should have been handled, but it wasn't executed correctly. More so, we were in contact with them during that entire time. We were trying to go live on Thursday, but what we were doing, at least for regular pools and stuff like that, but our final edits were not saving. So that's why they were staying closed, because I definitely didn't want people going to wrong pools when they thought it was one and another. So I think they got released once before they were approved. And that's why they were closed again, because the adjustments and the way the bracket was supposed to be didn't take hold. So, okay. I mean, we were fighting with that the whole weekend, basically. I'm not really technical with it, so I got guys who's doing that was, in contact with those guys and trying to troubleshoot it the best way we could. But it just didn't happen within the time. So I really apologize about that. Like, that's day one stuff that shouldn't happen. But like I said, that was my mistake for trying to enforce that system being used. And actually, really, you're just supposed to use that system from the door, like from the jump, starting from day one, because it actually does a lot of great things. You can actually, people's like, hey, pre-registration was probably the problem. Yes and no. Yes, because you had over 200 people, pre-register at the door for Street Fighter, and more than that overall. Yeah. But just speaking on Street Fighter specifically, if we had started with Smash GG, then like they got a little option that you can do like a pre-register, like a non-play pre-register. So if you don't show up, everybody in this list who didn't pay, whoever didn't show up, you just click on their names and then delete. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or if they did, you just click on their names and say, okay, they did pay. So it's a pretty neat system, but like I said, we shouldn't have tried anything new with the event of this magnitude. So to the people that I did ruin their experience, especially people, not just veterans and stuff like that, but everyone, especially the people who that was their first event. And if they get moved away or just like, that was a horrible experience, I never want to go to a live event, I'll just stream Monster and play online. If I did that to one person, then I'm truly sorry, because I do these things to try to grow the community, and I heard it. So actions like that I take very seriously. Okay, any other question?
Okay, the next one is spacing. People were saying, one person in particular, how he got hit in the temple, boo-hoo, I cry a fucking tear. But people were saying the spacing was tight.
Okay.
What was it? Was it a matter of just logistics in general? What you thought would compensate, or what happened that people wound up getting so packed up?
Okay. Well, this is what happened. Well, last year we had 475. Okay, roughly around that. And that was the second biggest, CBT event last year. To date, we doubled that plus some. Okay, so imagine you having pre-registering. Your pre-registration is, it's looking pretty decent, but within that span, you said you had a month left to register. You started getting significant jumps in pre-registration. By that time, it's pretty much too late to get a new venue. I don't know if you guys really understand, or the majority of people really understand, but once you're locked into a hotel, there's tens of thousands of dollars that's going to be tied into this if you cancel,
Yeah.
like cancellation fees and stuff like that. So I just can't up my event and then move it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not really feasible with a month left to go. That's no.
So now let me
Even
get,
with
so,
two
let, so let me
months,
ask, let me
even
ask
2
you,
months ago.
let me interject. What? So you're saying like a month? So did you kind of get the understanding like, oh shit, I don't think I'm going to have enough space? At
Oh
what
yeah,
point did you realize?
it's
At what
like,
point did you say to yourself, now I gotta make this work? I have no other option.
well, unless I put anyone that anyone that was there saw that the grand ballroom, my secondary ballroom, and my grand foyer was totally filled the entire weekend. Okay, I mean, like, literally, it was a natural progression, but we jumped so fast, so high that the venue can handle it. And it didn't really matter. Once the room sales was an indication, but that's 2 months before the event. And then registration was still slow, you know.
And plus, you added the door on top of it.
Yeah, but
It's just compounded.
nah, yes, the door compounded it also. But when those numbers really started to come in, it was apparent that this location was going to be too small. I mean, for that place was pretty much big enough to just have Street Fighter in it, to be honest, you know. But it was enough to have everything last year. So there was no indications that I would double in that alone. I mean, just one game alone. Which is, I mean, I guess I could foresee that, but I really don't think anybody. I was talking with a couple people. They was like, why are you, before I even said about the cap, they were like, why are you talking about a cap or, hinting about a cap? There's no way we'll reach that. So, okay, I actually had to turn some people away, like legitimately turn people away. So I think in planning, yeah, I could have foreseen that maybe, but really, truthfully, if we had a natural jump, say you go from 400 to 6 or 7, that's kind of what I was thinking with Street Fighter,
Yeah.
Fighter 5 releasing, that the space I had would still be able to have enough. I mean, I was trying to find places to put everything, and I thought I did a decent enough job of allocating the space. Not trying to have, the two largest, games there. But I mean, either way, that place, we've outgrown that hotel. I know that. I'm actively looking for a new place. I found around 20. So I was uncomfortable when I was going in there. I just thank the good Lord that the fire marshal didn't come in there and shut us down, because it got to a point that you could barely go in any room. Like, I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
And in
from the
front.
pics
I mean, yeah.
pics that I've seen, yeah, it seemed like, chair to chair, between game stations, facing opposite ways, and it just seemed like people were kind of sardined in.
Yes.
But again, I don't. Uh, I don't want to. I'm not here, because I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you're gonna go soft on you. You know, these are things that you couldn't predict, but at the same time, uh, I mean, I get, what, I can't even, and this is where, I get people going, I'm emo about it. You couldn't predict that kind of numbers for Street Fighter. Because to be honest, word on the street was, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't end all that you would think this revolution of, coming from 400 to 700, but you were the first one.
Yes.
That was part of the Capcom thing. So I imagine the numbers are going to even get bigger. Now, with that said, what do you think about doing away with emergency registration?
Yeah, I'm contemplating that right now. When you look at the grand scheme of things, I think that's a problem that Evolution just said, hey, I think we want to eliminate this to streamline my event, make sure that we don't have to, deal with late entries and stuff like that. But I will say that a couple of people would have wasted flights over here, especially a couple names that we'll rename them nameless, but if they weren't in line early on Friday, they might not been, participating on Sunday. So I definitely understand why they do it now, and really and truthfully, the only people that can really advise me on that is Tom, Tony, and Joey, because they have those problems every year.
Yeah.
Everyone else have not, reached that plateau. That's not a shot at anybody. Because actually, Eric was telling me, he's like, yo, man, yeah, it's going to be freaking huge, Larry, because I had this much at Winter Brawl, dog. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? And he told me, he was like, hey, you're gonna have, but we both was thinking like, like 700. Because he had like 370, almost 400 at Winter Brawl. So he was thinking like, yeah, dude, you're going to have like 700. But like I told him at that time, I was like, dude, registration, isn't jumping like that. But it was soon after that, man. We just had wave upon wave upon wave upon wave upon wave. So yeah, I mean, the no door registration is definitely one of my discussion topics. So
I mean, it's it's to the point where again, this is where me and the esports versus grassroots thing. If you're gonna pick your hobby to be traveling around to play video games, you always know roundabout what the dates are. You don't have final round in March, April, and then next year you say, I'm going to do it in November. It's always the same time. And people need to start realizing that as well, and being proactive themselves to say, well, shit, I plan on going to final round next year. I know it's going to be in March. I better at least get the money together to register. Because, I mean, I saw... I had people ask me, and I'm not part of final round. Yo, you think you can hit up Larry? I'm going to register late. I go, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Oh, well, you know him, so he'll probably hook you up. I said, he ain't going to hook me up, let alone you. And that's something that
but I mean,
the community as a whole has to start being proactive with.
Well, I've been, tagged in a couple of things, and I know a lot of people think that the true majors, events, the bigger events and stuff like that should definitely be the ones that people, hey, there is no pre-registration. I mean, excuse me, there's no at the door registration, excuse me. That's only pre-registration to make it easier, because it streamlines everything. You don't have to worry about making sure that everyone is in there before you release everything. It's literally, hey, it's finished, make the pools or whatever, and it's done. You already got your schedule be pristine. I definitely understand why they do it, and I definitely understand the perks of it, especially with what happened this year. But I really don't think pre-registration was. I think it was a part of it, but I think the execution of what we were trying to do is more so the problem than pre-registration. It's a part of it. It's definitely a part of it. Not discounting it at all. Not trying to sidestep the question or anything like that. But I think the bigger key was not getting it out and players not knowing when, where to play. That's inexcusable.
And then with that said, a lot of people, I mean, I ain't going to say a lot, but people would, I was hearing people go, yo, I got disqualified. I didn't know I was playing until 4:30 in the morning in this pool.
Yeah.
And then they tell me at 8 o'clock I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. So that right there, that is 100,000%, my fault. So you should have somebody up freaking at 4:30 in the morning to try to get it simple pools ready. That's unacceptable. Seriously, so I mean, whether people accept my apology or not, and I'm not being flippant about anything like that. I'm really sincere about this. Like, I really apologize for that. That should never. That's, like I said, it's unacceptable. Okay, so I'll be having, I take that on myself since I, pretty much mandated we try to use this system. So that's on me and not the people who are trying to get it fixed. Okay.
I mean, now, as far as sponsors go, how were the sponsors as far as everything? I mean, that's just a personal, that has nothing to do with everybody watching. I mean, sponsors had to be taken back a little bit, I would think.
Well, I'm not going to get into final round business aspect or anything. I think that's like, no,
Right.
that's not really a topic I'll talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. Yeah. Also, somebody was asking me about the cosplay.
Okay.
A couple of the cosplayers hit me up. They were upset that I guess they had 5 cosplayers and Scott were judging it, and they weren't happy with the way it went.
Okay.
As
Yeah.
far as the judges.
Yes, I heard. Yes, I heard about that. Also, I know the guy I would have voted for, but I try to stay neutral.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really aficionado about that, about cosplaying. What I can do is try to bring someone in that's more of an expert, towards cosplay, so it won't be the people that put hard work into it. I mean, I don't know, I told one of the people that cosplay that I like, I came up to them and shook their hand. I said, I really like your outfit. You know what I'm saying? The guy was like Cloud and had the Buster sword and everything. So, I came and shook his hand. I was like, man, I said I wasn't a judge, but I would vote for you. That's a real intricate, costume that you have. But I don't feel like I'm qualified for it. So if the cosplayers were upset with the results, then we'll look into someone, with a more of a cosplay background being a judge. And maybe we'll want to judge instead of participate in that manner.
Why?
Yeah, I don't want you to take it easy on me, John.
No, it's not.
That's what
Listen,
I told you.
Again, why the fuck were Magnus and why were Magnus and Ski Sonic commentating? That's coming from somebody that was questioning in the chat.
Why was Magus and Ski Sonic? Okay, they got a problem with one of those guys. I thought people liked them. Well, I mean,
People have a strong issue with Ski Sonic that he can't commentate. That's what a lot of people are saying. Now, I'm not throwing. I have no listen between me and you. This is coming from them. I have no love for him at all. But that's between him and I, and I'm not, I'm not airing my dirty laundry out. But I have heard other people in the past say they can't stand his commentating. Either way, I look at it this way though. There isn't that many people that can commentate.
Not well.
Not well, and as much of a pain in the ass as he is. And while he makes up his own words as he goes along sometimes in his own technical terms, he does keep it professional.
Mm-hmm.
So, personally, I can't argue with him commentating, but I know a lot of people do not like when he commentates.
Well, I thought that was just the random trolling that people
these questions now, here we go. For fuck's sake. Ski Sonic didn't even know Vega isn't a charge character no more. That's what somebody just wrote. He isn't that bad. Magus did a nice job.
Okay, all right. I would gather that Capcom had them, so you would direct those questions to Capcom.
Yeah, because that's kind of Capcom's gig.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't have anything personal against Ski, and he doesn't. I kind of like his commentary, but I didn't choose him or anything like that. But I have no problem with Magus or Ski Sonic. Straight with no.
They got a petition out there to remove Ski Sonic from the FGC. Good job, guys. Okay. You fucked Ski Sonic over. Most people suck ass at commentating, and you know what? One man strike is right. It's not an easy. As much as I may not get along with a lot of folks out there, I do look at what they do and say, they do a better job than somebody that's just going to sit up there and go, "Hey, shit, fuck, it was a Dragon Punch." They do commentate well, but that's just people's preference. So honestly, guys, that's something you need to take up with Capcom, not an event itself. I'm more concerned. Are you willing to answer some Jeff Bailey questions?
James. Oh yeah, yes. But my whole first part of the show I really want to address questions for the people that was there that was dissatisfied.
Okay.
With the service that they got. I don't want to answer about no commentating or anything like that. Okay. No disrespect to anybody who asked that question, but
it's irrelevant.
Me coming on here is more addressing the people that was dissatisfied with the time they had at final round, and those type of issues, talking about the stream and stuff like that. I'm more concerned with the people that attended my event, to be honest, because I started this to build a community, not to tear it down. If my efforts are starting to tear things down, something damn well better change. All right, so those questions like that, just skip over that,
Yeah. Here's a small one. What was the deal with the badges and having to buy replacement badges when they got ripped?
Oh. Well, people wanted badges. Because only ordered a certain amount. And if you go to I don't know. Pick any kind of event, Where it's like people was tearing them and losing them. You know what I'm saying? They wanted badges. They want, but if you lose them, I didn't buy as many. That was another thing. I didn't buy many badges because I bought 3,500 badges, and I mean, we bought 1,000 spectator badges. We were left with like 50 or something like that. I don't know. It's in a box somewhere. We had 3,500 lanyards, you know, and we may have came back with, you know, between 5 or 700 back home. Half of one box, you know. So I didn't have many. So
Yeah.
with the amount of people coming in, if you lose it, I mean, that's just what it is. If you lose your ticket in the movie theater, they're not gonna let you back in the movie theater. You know, I mean, it's just simple. I just didn't have a whole bunch of badges just to keep giving out. You know, if we show proof of purchase, okay. Most people just coming up, oh, I lost it. You know, and expect that. Oh, here you go. That's pretty much what that is. You know.
Now here's the thing somebody's asking.
Just anticipating. I'd anticipate, you know. Like I said, I would have had dang on 700 more badges left, or however many. We didn't get the numbers we got, but okay, whatever. Next time I'll buy 3 times the amount and waste nothing. Yeah, that's my mistake too. I apologize for that. Yeah, that's my mistake too.
Now somebody said. No. Somebody said this. They said now that you've seen what happened at Final Round 19, what steps would you take as far as maybe third-party people, bringing them in to help do pools? What necessary steps do you think you need to take besides just making more adequate space for Final Round 20?
Well, that's a great question. First off, with the size of the event, I didn't have enough systems to run the adequate size or number of pools, excuse me. The math tells you that if you're running 16-man pools and you get into the 10, 24-man bracket, that you will get, that you would need to run at least 16 pools at a time. I think that's what the math tells you to do. When you go up in that next tier, you need to do that. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have the money to do that, to have 30. I mean, just be honest. Even if I renting for someone, you could pretty much buy everything that you're gonna rent, and guess what you're gonna have? Nothing when they leave.
Yeah.
So I take the onus, unless I had like a sponsor, like if I had Sony as final round sponsor, and not just it's a CPT sponsor, and Sony had supplied final round with a amount of systems, then yes, I could have had, enough systems. But then again, I still don't have the space. So it still was a problem that space was entirely too small. Like I could have had, 32 systems in there, but then I would have kicked out everything out of the ballroom, and then they would have had to been in the hallway or in the street, or outside the building. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a combination of, maybe addition by subtraction. I mean, everything's on the table right now to try to make sure that things run smoothly, not just for Street Fighter, but for everybody.
Now one of the things I want to add, and this is where I'm going to play devil advocate on the people asking the question over and over versus your answer to the question.
Yes.
Obviously, being the first premier event, you undercut on the size, not really anticipating the turnout that you got until it was kind of too late, where a lot of people are asking the same question. It's not a matter of, if you thought you were going to get 500 people and now you got 1,000 people, you can't just up and move to another venue.
No, you cannot.
Because you're already locked into a contract with whoever you're renting the space from. So when I hear people keep saying, well, how did you not know that Street Fighter was going to have, 1,000 people? Well, let me ask you this. For those that are saying that, you are diehard Street Fighter players, odds are. But for the average general person on the planet, Street Fighter ain't doing that well. And I don't want to burst people's bubbles, but that's just the fact. That's the numbers. So the fact that you got such a great turnout for it, unfortunately, everybody else is going to learn from your mistake. You can't learn from your mistake until next year when you're not going to make it again. But now I want to throw this loop into the equation. Yes. By this time next year, who knows if people even going to be playing the game? You know what I'm saying? Now I want to say but
they'll still
so now you're going to go out. So now you're going to go out, and now you got to think on the double-edged sword and go. As long as they're still playing it, I got to get this bigger venue.
Well, if you're saying on that point, it may hurt just because of what happened this year. That's a factor also. But I know that venue is too small to do an event of final round size. I know that. That's done deal. Okay.
Let me just interject. Some no one. Street Fighter is not doing well compared to every other version of Street Fighter at this point. The sales numbers were minuscule, to be honest. And that's not me being an anti-Street Fighter versus... everybody automatically says, well, compared to Mortal Kombat. No, compared to every game out there.
All right. We're going sideways.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that in there.
No. We're going sideways. That's another show, James. That's another show that we're not here for that.
No.
Right.
But all right. So, obviously now you got to compensate for bigger space.
Yes, definitely.
What about staff-wise? People were saying that a lot of the staff had no idea. I heard people said that during the staff meeting, people didn't show up.
Well, yeah. That was the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, we had people that didn't show up. The guys that did the best they could, did an excellent job. But yes, it was pretty mind-numbing to see people in the group that wasn't showing up, or people, I don't know. We'll get a better system on that. But yes, obviously, the people that did come was committed. The people that didn't come either did it, as a joke, or they just couldn't come. Some people, message say, hey guys, sorry, can't make it, got family business, others just did not show up. So with that, we're going to explore the avenues and, in other ways to verify, people's intent or not. So, that's definitely a good, question. It was definitely a good question. We didn't have the proper staff. We did not have enough volunteers. The people that was working there did an admirable job, but no, we didn't have enough. And definitely, yes, that's a problem. It needs to be solved.
Here's somebody saying, I told my tournament organizer I won my match, and he said okay. I asked him if he knew who I was, and he said a different name. I understand that he has a lot of pools, and it's a lot of work, but the pool runners should always ask for the names. And you're right.
Yes, they should. They should. And if I gotta hold a pool running class, which we've done in the past, but I don't think we sat down and read it all the way. Like we'll sit down and explain to them, our generals or whatever, explain to them how we want to do it. But it comes to a point that maybe we will have a real, hey, bracket 101, type thing. Because that's a question. If someone asks him, like, hey, if I'm running the bracket, I would like, okay, what's your name? Yeah, I would have said that. So if someone was like, yeah, I won my match. And
What?
then the guy did, yeah, you don't even know what game. He's just like, what? He could have came all the way across the thing. Or if somebody got DQ'd, but they told the person, hey, I'm going over to such and such game to check because I'm in 2 games at the same time. Those type of things that runners should know. If that happened, then obviously we didn't. He was one of the people either came late or we didn't explain it to him. Okay.
Jam Sauce asked, do you
Yes.
have any statistics on how many DQs there were?
No, I do not.
James, turn Larry down a bit and your mic up. Oh, my mic's low. That's just my voice is shot and his mic and his voice is recovering.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, we pretty much understand that you're gonna revamp, especially being that it's Final Round 20 coming up next year.
Yeah.
So that's more of a reason to, pull out all the bells and whistles. As far as staff goes, do you think paid staff might be a better route to go?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, depends on how big I have to get,
Yeah.
Nobody's running off. Well, some people do, but it has to be a healthy mixture of both.
Well, see, that's the thing, and I understand.
Yeah.
Like, if and people that want to do that need to understand. If I'm paying you, then you're working. And that's contrary to a volunteer just jumping up saying, "Hey, I'll take some money off of this guy, and then I'll go disappear for 10 hours."
Yeah.
In my room. That's something that happens even to the people that get paid. They disappear.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when you got to track them down. Now you got a situation. Now you got another situation. You gonna pay someone a wage when they're really not, employed to you. They can say, "Oh, I didn't agree with that." I mean, of course, you got to have them sign a contract and stuff like that. If when you go that route, of course, that's what you're gonna do. So the answer is yes. I mean, the answer is we are going to explore all options to try to get, the best quality event out.
And Edgy Entertainment said paid staff involves paid supervisors and managers, and that's where people need to understand.
I don't know about. I pay supervisors already.
Yeah.
It's just like people that's been with me since day one, back in the rec centers and stuff like that. People that they've seen for ages upon ages. And I'm steadily want to increase my staff, my real staff, with volunteers that's been helping me, for ages and ages. I want to sit down and talk with them, So the guys that know me, and I was kind of, trying to cool down after the final round. I was going to be selectively, reaching out to people, see if they want to be a part of, real staff and stuff like that, not just on a volunteer level.
Yeah.
I mean, those type of things, happen internally.
All right, what about consoles being unpatched? How did that happen?
Oh yeah, So, yeah. Well, basically, I missed some of mine. I didn't patch KI all the way. I tried. One of them didn't take. The others didn't have Shadow Jago, which I didn't know about. Jabelli actually gave me 2 codes to put on 2 systems for Shadow Jago. But DOA had a patch the day before, so community helped out and brought those. So they'll be playing on the patch version. Others I had, some weren't patched on the way that I didn't have in my possession at the time. Some wasn't. It's just, that patching thing, you just got to make sure it happens. That's all. Got to make sure it happens. Plain and simple. It's something that shouldn't happen at all.
Oh, I mean, so is there anything else you want? I mean, how did you feel overall the event wound up going?
Yeah, and what games? Like you talking about like Street Fighter and stuff like Street Fighter? Or
Well, they were saying Street Fighter. I guess Street Fighter was unpatched too. That's what somebody said.
Okay, I think that was like one machine we took off and put a patch. I want to know who broke my PlayStation on the stage. I never get to watch. I just know that somebody yanked the PlayStation off the stage, and nobody seems to know who did it.
Yeah, of course.
But I guess I gotta go and get that fixed. Maybe if I watch footage, I'll see it. But whatever. I know I gotta get a lot more. So what's one more gonna be? One more to the total that I gotta reach.
So overall, I mean, you've been doing this for 19 years. You obviously know your shortcomings that had happened at Final Round 19. But now, a lot of people have said that, Larry's just going to come out there and go sorry. It's not going to happen again, and everything's supposed to just be forgiven and forgotten.
No, it's not. I mean, those that were affected by this directly, you can choose to come or not to come. I mean, this is, man, not to sound crass, anything like that. More so of, I put my fate in my own hands by having a poor managed event that may have ruined your experience, especially if this was your first time coming to an event. So this is not, Larry's just going to say, sorry, everything's supposed to be forgiven, la, la, la. No, this is not what this is for. I get my voice out there, apologize to the people that I did affect. Because the people that said that they enjoyed themselves, I appreciate it. But you definitely should expect a higher standard of event, especially if something that's been going on this long. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, one of the things that I noticed, because I've been going through all the Facebook posts and the tweets and everything, and it hasn't been all doom and gloom either. I mean, I heard a lot of people say, well, this was bad, but I still had a great time. And that, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not making an excuse for you. I'm just saying, you're really doing this so people have a good time, you know. And I'm not saying if you can't make everybody happy, you know, you shoot for that. You know, you always shoot for that. And, you know, you wouldn't be here 19 years if it's been plagued for 19 years. Now, I've heard people say last year was kind of screwed up and you came out and you apologized, and then this year was kind of screwed up and you came out and apologized. Do you think that the growth of people traveling to tournaments is what's been causing you the majority of your shortcomings for the last two events?
The last two events, I wouldn't say growth. I wouldn't say growth was because that sounds like a excuse. No, I wouldn't say growth. I would say planning. I would say more attention to more detail cause it. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say the growth would had anything. Well, it has some to do with it, but it's not the end all be all. That's the reason why I'm not gonna take that route and take that excuse. No, could have been better planning. Could have been better executed. So yeah, I'm not gonna take that route. That's an easy route to take now.
Now, Z and Air says, what happened that caused there only to be one vendor aside from a stigmata?
Oh, vendor wise, I mean that's just the way it happened this year. That's all. Plain and simple.
What else do we got? Number 3, Nasty Seasons. From a streamer perspective, the event was still a blast to watch. Beat by Noel Brown, and I got to agree with that. Now, I also heard that the hotel had an issue with AC.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I heard you were putting you put people on sweating to the 80s diet plans.
Yeah. Yeah, I never received a message or email about that. That was going to be a problem. That's something I got to handle with the hotel.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that too. That was ridiculous. I was right in there with y'all, and I was hot and upset too. So yeah. All right. Please, I don't even want to think about that. That was.
Well, it's good to think about it. Put it in your head to go back and bitch about that. That one's not tolerable to me.
Oh no! That definitely will be handled.
What else do we got? Oh, I mean, everybody's already going into the one thing I don't want to hit yet. Combat Network, MK stream was up and down. I hate to say it, but you know, it's been a common occurrence. I love Shock. I've known him for years. You know, it's time for him. I don't know if it was him this particular time, or it was the internet. Was there not adequate internet access there?
Oh, okay. Oh, so you talking about the stream going out and stuff like that? All right, here's the deal. All right, that's another thing. Those things right there are things I need to discuss with the hotel. Don't blame Shock for any of that. All right, I'm telling y'all right now. Do not blame Shock for internet stuff. The air conditioning being a problem, the internet being a problem, was not anything but that hotel. There's another reason why I'm actively searching for another venue. Yeah. I mean, yes, I was going to look for another venue regardless with the stuff and items I got to do with, check back with these guys when I'm free. But I definitely have to go over the air conditioning thing. I mean, when you have an event like this that pretty much, if we're not the biggest thing they have on their calendar, we got to be in the top 3. And to have, the air conditioning being a problem the week when we're getting there, I mean, come on. Internet problems when we've never had internet problems at Final Round before. That's not a shock problem. That's the person providing it a problem. All right, so those type of things I had to speak with this venue about. It was totally uncalled for, and they'll be addressed. Trust me, they'll be addressed. But we're not going back there anyway, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get,
Now, let me
other
ask you
stuff
this.
handled.
Would you stay in the Atlanta area, or would you be opening to moving?
Man, I'm not. It's gotta be in it. It won't be Final Round if it's not in Atlanta. Come on,
Well, I
man.
mean, like that general area, like that's from what I'm told.
Oh,
You could
you're
throw a
talking
rock
about.
at it from the airport.
Oh yeah. Now that I love the location. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the location. The service has gotten, kind of worse. I love the location. I mean, that was one reason why I went there, because of the location. People coming out of town, people coming into town. It's easy to find. It was, a big hotel. Room wise, the prices of the rooms, what I got it for the Final Round group was relatively cheap. Now, after that runs out, they charge out the nose, but I can't control that. But yeah, I love the location, but I can't be in that. That hotel was just too small. I mean, the hotel I have at TFC is bigger than that. Like if I had those rooms at TFC for Final Round, then everything would have been fine. But so is not the case.
There's some random questions. Too much apologizing.
All right. So I think I done got to the meat and potatoes of that. If there's any other questions or, just like you said, it's too much apologize. People might.
I mean, yeah, you can't.
People might think it's phony and stuff. I mean, people gonna believe me or not believe me. When it comes to that, I didn't start this to crap on certain communities or
No.
try to just do piss poor stuff. And no. If what I'm doing is damaging the future of Final Round, then excuse me, not just Final Round, but the FGC, it definitely has to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to go in some hole and not address it like, oh, whatever. I don't have to answer that. Everybody has to be held accountable. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah.
All right. Last one, but for this, before I jump into something else.
Yeah.
Are you considering at all collaborating with other TOs to make another major? I mean, you're already doing this.
I already
at
did.
TFC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So my first question out of the box then is obviously you saw Mr. CEO Alex's comments on Facebook,
Yeah.
like everybody else.
Well, actually, my wife saw it first, and then she showed me.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when you saw it?
First thing I went in my mind was, why didn't he say something to me when he was there? All I saw him, he did give me those 2 codes for Shadow Jago. So, but if he had displeasure to that point, I'll tell you one thing, Rip. You know Rip, right?
Yeah.
All right, Rip. He came up to me, looked me in the eye, shook my hand, said, Larry, I got to tell you, Final Round's pretty effed up this year. I didn't scream at him. or anything. Actually, I gained more respect for him because he came up to me like a man and was like, "Yo, man, I'm really having a bad time. It's kind of effed up, you know. I just want you to know."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that right there, if you were so concerned, you would let your voice be heard right then and there. If you were so concerned for the people. Yeah, let's get to that. Since you were so concerned about the people, you need to warn them about final round and events like this.
Now,
Right.
I'm gonna switch over to it only because while I'm talking to you, what I got here, and I just put it on the screen.
Okay.
Alex is at your event handing out his mixtape.
Yeah. Actually, one of my staff members showed me that he was illegally soliciting his event at final round. He didn't ask me. Of course, he did.
No, but my whole thing is first of all you ask. I mean that's just a common courtesy.
Yeah.
And again, we're not competing, as everybody says. The TOs are not competing with each other to undercut each other. But yeah, there's a healthy sense of competition where I want to, if you put in a boxing ring, I put in an MMA octagon, or whatever it is. There's that sense of competition. But pulling this mixtape shit to me, and this is me personally, and not getting permission is scumbaggish. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how you take it, but, so you come to an event on your megabus. You took the time to bring a stack of your little mixtapes. You come, you hand them out. When other people are there that pay, and I can guarantee you this, and Alex can, and this is, I'm sorry, Alex can kiss my fucking ass. Because there's no way in the world I would be allowed to come to CEO and hand out OBS shirts. He would tell me I gotta pay.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden he feels privileged enough that he can just come to whatever event he chooses after talking out of the side of his mouth for how long about everybody else's events, and then drop these off, run out the door, magically grab a flight to go home and piss and moan on Facebook that he got hit in the temple and he had to leave. And to me, that is the epitome. I can't even. I get so wound up with him. He's so maniacal. Now again, this isn't you saying this. This is me. I witness the TO wars, as they were out on Twitter saying. The TO wars is a real thing. These guys don't get along with these guys don't get along with these guys, but sometimes these guys can coexist. But one common denominator in all of the ones that can't get along, they can't get along with Alex. And that's when I saw him put that out there, that how horrible of a time he went, and he spoke it so condescendingly, I knew it was only a matter of time before he had to change his tune, or at least tone it down. And magically somebody told me the post got deleted.
Yeah, someone told me that too. Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up, James. If anyone that believes that Alex did that because he wanted to warn people or save people or inform people about the experience he had. No. Please don't fall for that. I want you guys to really look at what happened. Yes, the final round was dead wrong. Having you guys wait how many hours for pools? You guys not knowing where. We're not saying that there was no fault of ours at all. But if you think for 1 second that he was not, I gave him the gun. He shot me. I gave him the ammunition. What was going wrong? Put the bullets in, and he pulled the trigger. That's fine. He was upset how things was ran. He couldn't take it anymore. All right. Now, James, say that I am a representative of a gaming company, and I feel that my game is getting misrepresented by your event. I will pull you aside and says, James, as a representative of such company, I feel that my game is not being represented properly to my consumers. And if he would have said that, Larry, since he was so concerned, obviously, that's why he made the post. Larry, I'm concerned with not only, the game that I represent, but everyone here. What is going on? No. He passed out his little cards. Smiled every time I looked towards him, because I guess he was reaching in for another card. But he was concerned with everybody there. He passed out all the cards he could until his bag was empty. He did what he wanted to do. He was cool with leaving. It probably put more exclamation point on him leaving, on his post. If anybody believes that he was just doing that because he was, reporting what was happening for the people can understand, don't go there. Don't go to final round. It's just not good. Look, this guy has had it out for me for some time now, for reasons I don't know. When he offered some of my staff to come work with him, I bet you he don't know that I know that, but they came up to me and said, yeah, he offered me a job, but I turned him down because you family. Yeah, I turned the other cheek. When 2 days after my mother died, you was talking trash about me and my event, I turned the other cheek. You come here, you think a person like that would come here and just say, oh, I want to warn people. Oh my God. Guys, you have to know this. Come on, guys. You guys are smarter than that. You guys are much smarter than that. And there is nothing that he did. There's nothing that Jabali does except to further Jabali's agenda.
Yeah.
Period, point blank.
Let me just interject for a second.
No. I'm not finished, James. I'm not finished, James. I've sat here for the greater good since his ego has blown out of control. He runs a great event. I've never once told anybody not to go to his event. Yet I always hear little birdies chirping that he's talking, negatively about me, my events, other tournament organizers. I don't know what it is. I think that's just the way he is, and that's the way he's gonna be. But if anyone listening to my voice thinks that Alex was doing a service to anybody that wasn't trying to throw Fine around under the bus to further the the growth of CEO, you either fooling yourselves or you one of his closest friends. Because that's what it was. Okay. You don't post that and then a few hours later post, oh yeah, we got a 60,000 square foot. Don't worry about being cramped or anything like that. You guys, I know the FGC isn't dumb. We don't have dumb people in our community. You may be a fan of a certain person event or not, but the way that things are being handled is not in a professional manner. If he was so concerned about the people or whatever, he would have spoke to me face to face.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, other people may have. I mean, those people, they even said it nicely. A lot of people said it nicely. It was like, so Larry, you get in the venue, right? I was saying, I know what code that was. Like, damn, Larry, you had us squunched up in here like sardines. I know that's what code is. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But if he was so concerned, you weren't concerned.
No, and if people
you've been
think
doing
that
this
they're
behind the door. I mean, that's a dirty little secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, and everyone knew it. Everyone knew it. But now, since the gloves are off, I don't have to play nice about it. It was really like, I mean, I can't even look at him. I couldn't even look at him as a man. I mean, he wouldn't tell me. I mean, there was other people that was there that could have said something like that, but those people didn't go out and make that inflammatory, type post about it. So even if there's people, I mean, even people, people came up to me and just said, hey, no, whether I agree with him on what he said or not, I don't agree on the method he did and the way he did it. But for years, everybody just pushed it off as Alex being Alex. I'll say, yes, Alex is being Alex. I think you guys need to open your eyes and see the real Alex, because I'm not the one who tried to cause this TO versus TO thing. First thing he said was, I don't care what bridges I burn. Let that soak in. To everybody who's listening to my voice, I don't care what bridges I burn. So that means, well, at least how I interpret it, as you don't care if you cause division in the community. You care about yourself. You care about the promotion of yourself and not the growth of this scene. If you really cared, like you stated in your post so eloquently, if you really had that much passion, you was that disgusted, you would have said those words to me before you left out of the door.
Yeah, it could have, against, I thought, and people will break my balls about Triforce, but you know what? One thing me and Triforce, We don't get along. That I get people all the time going, man, you and Triforce are like, you're like the white Triforce, and he's like the black James MK, and I'm like,
Oh,
we
goodness.
don't get along, but you know what we do? We respect each other. What's it called? Honor among thieves.
I wouldn't say
Well,
that. I
I'm
mean,
just saying. I'm just using that as the term.
I,
But
I feel you, James, but I
we
mean,
know there's lines we don't cross. In fact, 2 years ago at final round, I was telling him I was going to come to fucking Atlanta and kill him. But the point is, it's like that stayed between us.
but not now since you just told it.
Well, no, I put it out there when I was pissed that day.
Oh,
But we resolved the issue with ourselves. Now, I don't know, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if the issue can be resolved between, the Alexes and the bridges that he don't give a shit that he burnt.
well, this is why the most remorseful because this post was made and lines were drawn. And in no way, shape, or form did I want anybody trying to pick a side because that causes division in the community. And our community is way too small to be causing drama like that. We got a lot of eyes on us. If people can't coexist for the betterment of the greater good, then how will this ever work? And when you have people that are going to spark that division by just look, dude, you guys are fans of who you want to be. Everybody out. I mean, I haven't really been on social media that much because I had to work today, actually, and I'm going to get off this soon.
If you're going to get off, before
no,
you
no,
get,
I
hold
just
on, I'm
go
saying,
ahead,
if you're
go
going to
ahead.
get off, though, I just got hit up by Holland, EC, and Kyle, and they want to know if they can jump in on this.
Guys, I really don't want this to be a pile on thing.
No, it's not.
I don't want this to be and the only, no disrespect to you, James. People was kind of saying, I was reading stuff and it was like, oh, he's boys with James, so he's going to be easy on him and stuff like that.
I heard worse.
Maybe he shouldn't be on there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he should ultra chin or something like that where it'll be a neutral thing or something like that. I don't want this to be the power. I want to say my piece.
All right, yeah, I hear you.
And I want people to understand that that post was it him white knighting and trying to save people from it's a part of his plan to smear Final Round. I don't know if he fears or if he's jealous or what. I really don't care. I've never cared. I was always actually happy for him to actually grow because I've seen growth in Final Round since he started CEO. You know what I'm saying? The numbers for both of us have grown. So for me, it's never really been a competition. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, but in his mind, obviously, and with him just making that silly statement last year about the next Evo, though, like that's anyway, that's off topic. Not gonna go there. My main thing is that, guys, my thing is I just wanted the people to understand who they're dealing with. That's all. Yeah, we Final Round. I take responsibility for all that happened there. But I'm not going to cause a division over this at all. And when you say that you don't care what bridges you burn. That means that you don't care if you burn down the FGC too for your own selfish goals. At least that's how I interpret it.
Well, I mean, that's how I see it. It's the way I saw him right through the write up. I mean, I knew it would get deleted, so I pulled a pig of the hut and screen capped it all already. And I, read it like 2 or 3 times, and I tried to do it in his voice, just so I could see what at first I said to myself, maybe he's turned a new leaf, maybe he's looking out for everybody. And then once I started hearing things, I said, nah, I said his ass took a mega bus because it's cheaper, and he probably had that flight already booked before he wound up fucking leaving.
I mean, look, I'm not going to speculate on those things, I had people give me all kind of scenarios, Was it a part of a bigger plan to get Final Round out of the way to grow a seal? I don't care, man. I just don't want Final Round name coming out of his mouth. I will fix what I need to fix. He has the right to have his own opinion. But if he was concerned with it, he could have let me know. Professionally, hey, represent this game here, and I don't appreciate the way you represented my game. What can I say to that? But okay, what? I can't dispute that if he came to me in that manner,
Yeah, just like I said, before I rip this jerk off a new asshole, I'll wait until I get you off. And that's not because of East Coast. That's because of my own personal dealings with him. Again, to me, anybody that hits a block button on Twitter is a bitch. You just ignore a person. I get people that hit me up daily, telling me I'm a piece of shit, I'm this, I'm that. I don't go and sit in my room rolling a ball and cry and say I want to kill myself. I just move on. Yes. I'm not going to block people, and that's, when I've had these people that have blocked me and pulled all their little finagling, and then all of a sudden when their event was coming around, when it was still a little less known, all of a sudden I was good enough to come on my show and talk.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, wait, you blocked me for 7 months, and then on the 8th month you unblock me. Then the 9th month you have your event, and the 10th month I'm blocked again. Really? And I'm stupid? So it's been going on for a long time. But again, my whole point is this: Final Round needs improvements.
Yes,
that. You've acknowledged that. You didn't need somebody to tell you that. You lived it. So, you saw what you built over the last 19 years. You've seen what happened, and you have acknowledged that it needs improvement.
Yes, it definitely needs improvement.
And I have faith that Final Round 20 will be finally the one that I get down to, because that's going to be the big hoopla one that I'm probably going to have the best time at.
Well, definitely, that is our goal. It's definitely our goal. And you don't have to take me for my word. And if you don't come back because of the experience you had this year, I understand. That's totally fine. But we're looking to fix those corrections, looking to get a bigger place. I've said my piece on the post that was made. That's pretty much it on my part, man. Thank you for giving me this forum to talk. I didn't want it to go sideways on any, different tangent. I wanted to stay on course. And we did that. No profanity, late tirade from me. And I thank everyone for listening. I didn't didn't want to cause any divide, and I'm not telling people to back me or back him or anything like that. That's not what it is with me. I'm not about that. I'm about growth, not division. So,
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not, I'm not going to sit
What
here. I mean, I already said, I mean, people thought I was going to throw total pillows at you. I mean, you're not me. I'm the type that when you get off, I'm going to go into my rant of all the pieces of shit that I deal with. That's not for Capcom Pro Tour to see you talking and saying, why were you standing there just letting Jimmy talk all this smack? You've always been a quiet guy since I've met you. You're not, big guy, but not a quiet guy. In the sense of, you're not a mouthy person. You do, what you set out to do. Sometimes shit happens. And when I hear people act as if it doesn't happen, that issues happen, that everything's prevented, it makes me wonder about who's getting money from who. And people also got to remember, you're putting your money into this, you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this. You start prepping as quick as possible. This wasn't something that you waited a week before final round to say, I'm gonna go get an event now and just put it together and whip it together. So,
yeah.
So again, everybody that's gone out there saying, oh, you're probably going to say sorry. What are you supposed to do?
I mean, those people aren't going to accept it anyway. So, I mean, I understand that. And they're totally within their right to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's not did you feel if he was sincere or not. But I got to get up early in the morning, James.
All right.
I guess if he want to go and speak on it, he can. If anybody else, yeah. I mean, I guess he can get some insight to it also. I didn't want to speak about anything towards him or anything like that. He can speak on it himself. But if other people or whatever, I mean, it just has to stop. I see a divide going into the scene, and it's not good. It's not good at all, and it's definitely not a good look if you're from the outside, a corporate entity, from the outside looking in, So everybody be good. Thank you guys for hearing me out, whether you believe me or not. I just want you to hear my voice. Anybody can take words, type it, and misconstrue it any kind of way. So I just wanted you guys to hear me and not read me, because you can read anything.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I need to get some sleep because I got to get up early in the morning for work.
All right.
Thank you guys for hearing me out.
I appreciate you for coming on, and you're always welcome here. And I wish the best for you and Shonda, and obviously final round. I mean, and the FGC as a whole. That this is something that will come and pass as quick as it happened, and we'll just get by it and work on making final round 20 better.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so yeah, you're gonna talk to E or whatever, or whoever you're gonna talk to. Then go ahead, because I gotta go to sleep. All right, later, y'all.
All right,
later,
man.
guys. Peace.
Later. So, guys, we can bash till we're blue in the face. I could tell you stories about Alex. I could tell you stories about Keats. I could tell you how these bitches block me. I could tell you how, that Muppet-looking motherfucker, Ski Sonic, went and cried that this wasn't going to be a good outlet for Larry to come on. But, I have nothing to lose, and since Alex liked to blow his own horn, I guess I'll blow my horn. When I flew Cane Blue River, and yes, you heard that correctly, when I flew Cane Blue River to win a brawl to play F-Champ, I did it with no gain in mind except to entertain you people. You know, when I've given money into pot bonuses and have been told by other people in this scene that this group of people don't like you, so it can't be known that you were involved with it. How the fuck you think that makes me feel? And then you got this jerk off Alex, okay? And he will turn around and he will promote, and this is mind boggling. I don't know how he has a job. You know, how do you work for a company and you don't push your own product harder than you do Street Fighter and Smash? Because those make you money on the side. Like, what kind of outfit do these guys actually run over at Iron Galaxy? How does your community manager for Killer Instinct, which the numbers are sad, 78 people showed up, I think it was, for KI. How do you work for a company and promote other companies' products? That makes zero sense. You know, and it's not about getting him fired. I don't give a shit whether he has the job or not. But you can't possibly tell me that's not a conflict of interest. And getting on the world of Capcom, when I had gone out publicly last year, after reading the rules of the Capcom Pro Tour and telling people, well, it doesn't make sense, and I didn't just call him out, I called out Long Island Joe, and I called out Alex Vi, and I called up any TO that entered in the Capcom Pro Tour. The rules stated they were not allowed. But yet, what did they do? They just ignored the rules. You know, and then you got rules that are chosen when and when they don't get applied. You know, well, you know, since, you know, Snake Eyes got to the event late, we're not going to DQ him because he's Snake Eyes. But we're gonna DQ, you know, little Billy from Boise, Idaho, who had found out, you know, his pool was at 4 a.m, and he didn't make it for, you know, 8 o'clock. They're not allowed to enter any tournaments, any Capcom sponsored event. See, one of the funniest things. No, I'm not misinformed, Alex. The rules are now changed. I mean, you're more than welcome to come on and debate it with me. But the rules clearly stated that anybody that was a Capcom sponsored event could not enter Capcom of Pro Tour events. Now the rules are changed for 2016. But in 2015, those were the rules. No, Alex, that's not what the rules said. They specifically mentioned the actual people that were working the event. That was a sponsored event. I didn't make it up. I mean, I read it clear as day. But now the rules are changed, so it's okay. But my point is, it's a conflict of interest. You know, and again, I am not blaming you, Alex. I'm just saying, this is the problem with the Capcom community, is rules are enforced whenever they want. And that's one of the reasons this stuff would never... Actually, Junkmouth, no, he wouldn't. I mean, if you want, I could pull the rules up. I went through this whole thing last year. It specifically said that. You know, but the point is, you know, as the FGC is trying to grow into this esports, the fact of the matter is, it can't. Because we don't even have our own rules. All right, Alex, so you know what I'll do? I'll again, this isn't interpretation. I will pull up the rules again. All right, I will actually go and pull up the rules and for all to see. Let me see what I got here. Because I don't want to misinform people. Let's see what we got here. Because I know I'm not wrong. I don't pull shit out of my ass. Where are the rules? You know, because, you know, like Pick of the Hut, I grabbed them and saved them and specifically read them for that reason. What do we got? Let's see what we got here. Let's see. You know, I gotta dig. It's hard to find this shit. I gotta actually go looking. The rules were clear as day. They said nobody that was part of the Capcom Pro Tour, as far as sponsors and events, were allowed to compete. I don't want to come off like I'm wrong here, so I will look at them. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's opening up. All right. Okay, so now, just so we can be 100%, because I'll accept the, oh shit, I didn't see that. Let me go and put on this here. Okay, here we go. Let's set as, let's save it again. File info. And just because, like I said, I don't want to be accused, because this was grabbed. Let me figure out, I gotta grab it and find the file location, and then I'll put it up there. Yes, this is free promotion for him, because, you know, he's pretty hungry for that promotion. So, here, CEO, June 24th to 26th. A one-of-a-kind event. What do we got? Let's see. Just because I want to prove myself right. View original. Where's the original? Save picture as, and let's put it as my desktop. There we go. Alright, that's that. Alright, so now I got it. Let me close this out. And again, I'm not trying to debate, I'm just saying the facts that I know I'm not wrong. Okay, remove his little advertisements and we'll put this one in here. Okay. This is the advertisement. This was the rules that were specifically put up for the Capcom Pro Tour. This is not something written by me. Okay? It says, rule number 6, eligibility. Premier tournament, ranking tournaments, and the Capcom Cup. All these tournaments are open to all individuals 13 years old or older as of March 14th, 2015. All players at least 13 years or old but under the age of majority in jurisdiction in which they live a minor, must have permission from their mommy and daddy, parent or guardian, to register or participate in the tournament, and must be accompanied by the parent or the guardian itself. All players eligible to participate in the Capcom Pro Tour will be referred to as players. All references to players shall include players, parents, legal guardian, if the player is a minor. Employees, directors, officers, and their immediate family, spouses, siblings, parents, children, and their spouses of Capcom or tournament organizers, their parents, their subsidiaries, the distributors, the agents, or any entity involved in implementation, execution, prizes, fulfillment of the Capcom Pro Tour collectively are not eligible to participate in the Capcom Pro Tour. So am I wrong? So tell me I'm wrong. Now, it does not say that, Alex. It does not say that. It says are not eligible to participate in the Capcom Pro Tour. I'm reading you what it says. You could say whatever you want. I'm just telling you what it says. Now, these rules have changed. How am I wrong? Only for that. It doesn't say for that single event. Okay, since I didn't comprehend, so let's see. Employees, directors, officers, their immediate families, the parents, the children, and their spouses of Capcom or tournament organizers, their parents, subsidiaries, affiliates, distributors, agents and entities involved in implementing, executing, prizing, and prizing fulfillment of the Capcom Pro Tour collectively tournament entities are not eligible to participate in the Capcom Pro Tour. It does not say nowhere in your event. I'm not wrong. Now, again, I don't give a shit. These rules have changed now. Hey, Mario, you have no clue what you're talking about. I'm reading the rules. You obviously can't comprehend them. Okay. Now you've confirmed that. But now, Alex, if you read this, you comprehend it, then I'm not wrong. Okay, so we can agree to disagree, but to say I'm misinformed when they wrote these rules, I didn't write them. And that's the point. I didn't write the rules. Now the rules have been changed. And again, this whole point of this is not about you participating. I'm just telling you that the rules were there. I didn't make these rules up. I didn't make the rules up. And that's the whole point. Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, James?
Mr. All Caps. Apparently, I'm getting told I can't fucking read.
I ain't gonna say that. The rules is clear as fucking day, right there.
They're telling me I'm reading. They're making it sound like I'm reading something different. I didn't make the shit up.
No, it say organizers, officers, anybody that's affiliated with the whole giving out prizes and all that shit. As an organizer, you collect and give out prizes at the end of the tournament. So you can't play. You're not eligible to play. So you out of there. Sit on the bench, cheer, sad bet, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But it says right there, plain as day, that you cannot fucking play. So I don't know what the fuck people reading. I don't know if they just got public school education or whatever the
I
fuck.
don't know. I mean, they like to call me the retard. I'm going, listen, I'm reading it as clear as day. I can read it retarded for you if you want. But it doesn't say your event. It says Capcom Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand that, like Alex is saying, well, they gave me clarification. That's good. But the point is, before he got his clarification, those rules were supposed to be implemented and enforced, but they never were.
Right.
And that's because, again, the dysfunctionality, and not of Alex personally, but the dysfunctionality in the lovely TO universe and the Hollywood mentality that these people think they got, they can just pick and choose what rules they want.
And you know what? That's part of the problem. First, I wanna commend Larry, Shin, Blanka, the TO for running around, for coming on here and owning up to the shit that was wrong or fucked up or whatever. And that take balls and a man to come on the show with people who want to bash and say this and that, to admit his fuck ups. That takes a man. So I commend him for that, for handling it the way he handled it, for talking to y'all, for explaining to y'all what happened, for owning up to the shit that happened, for promising us that, hey, I fucked up, I'm gonna correct this, it'll be better next year. Personally, my experience is flying around every year. I've only missed the last 2 years, but every year I've went before then, it's been nothing but good times. And the thing that kills me with this whole situation, and I made a post about it a couple of days ago, is people in this community act like fucking children. They act like kids, and that shit is sickening. That shit is actually fucking pathetic to me. Y'all get on here. First of all, this is not a timed event. It's not like basketball or football. We ain't got 10 to 15 minute quarters, and we know it's gonna take 2 or 3 hours. You got people who want to come up, sync the controller, do 2-minute combo checks, 4-minute button checks. You also got people playing the 2 and 3 different tournaments. So if you in pool D or E and you got A, B, and C to wait on, and you got all this extra shit going on, you should already know that your pool is gonna run late. Like, to be honest with you, I've been to too many tournaments, and not one tournament that I've been to has the pool been on time. Unless you was the beginning pool A, no pool has ever started on time after pool A. No. You can't name me not one fucking tournament that, unless you was pool A, the very beginning pool, that your pool B, C, or D started exactly when it said it was gonna start. That shit never happens. Never happens. So for people to act like that's such a big fucking deal, that's just the end all, the be all, get the fuck out of here. That shit, that's some normal shit. We should expect that, because it's too many different variables when it comes to the timing of pool C, D, and E. Pool A and B, if you start in pool A and B hours later, that's an issue. That's an issue. But the other pools, where you after certain players, like I said, they want to do 2, 3, 4-minute combo button checks, ain't shit you can say about that. Everybody do it. I done seen top players do it. I done seen bum players do it. I done seen pop monsters do it. I done seen niggas on stream when they be setting they shit, trying to stream for people. I done seen them niggas do it. Oh, I just gotta check my buttons. No, nigga, and that shit taking 4 or 5 minutes. Second of all, with people, the whole discrepancy with people saying they don't know where they supposed to play at. My nigga, I understand it's an event. You need some kind of direction. You need some maps. Whatever the fuck is supposed to be that you think you need. I get that. That's